By 2015, the grand waiting room of Michigan Central Station had become a cavern of decay. Snow drifted freely through shattered windows, and decades of stagnant water and debris blanketed the floor of the once gilded concourse. Today, that exact same space radiates with warm golden light, operating at full capacity as a pristine architectural masterpiece. Achieving this meant overcoming the building's massive scale and its geology. This is an 18-story, 500,000-square-foot tower resting on top of a swampy Detroit basin, weighed down by thick blue clay and a dangerously high water table. Between the deep structural rot and the unstable ground, urban planners and developers reached a consensus. Attempting to save this massive structure was both financially impossible and structurally suicidal. That consensus held until 2018, when Ford Motor Company purchased the property and committed a near $1 billion budget to rescue the site. But the engineering team faced a brutal reality. 3 decades of aggressive elemental exposure had penetrated the exterior skin and begun rotting the fundamental steel core of the building. The primary challenge was physical, rehabilitating a 500,000-square-foot tower when the supporting iron core was actively disintegrating behind the masonry. Success depended on an industrial-scale fusion of traditional craftsmanship and digital structural diagnostics. The damage began accumulating the moment the last train departed in 1988. Without active maintenance, the building's hundreds of windows were quickly shattered. The massive copper roof was stripped away, leaving the grand concourse completely exposed. Brutal Michigan blizzards began dumping snow directly onto the delicate interior architecture. This exposure activated the building's primary assassin, freeze-thaw cycles. As rain and melting snow seeped into the porous Indiana limestone, the dropping temperatures caused that trapped liquid to crystallize into ice. The resulting outward expansion shattered the masonry from the inside out. Down below, the situation was worse. The basement had entirely flooded, transforming into a subterranean lake containing 2.5 million gallons of toxic, stagnant water. This combination of extreme weather and unchecked water infiltration transformed the building into an unstable, degrading structure that was nearing its physical limits. To repair the structure, engineers first needed to understand the current layout. However, the original 1913 blueprints had been lost to history, leaving the teams essentially flying blind. They solved this by bringing high-tech LiDAR tripods into the pitch-black corridors. By shooting millions of laser points per second, they mapped the invisible ruins and generated a millimeter-accurate 3D digital twin of the station. This mapping revealed that the structural steel was failing. Because they couldn't demolish the walls to replace the beams, engineers relied on a technique called sistering. Crews surgically opened precise sections of the historic masonry, exposing the compromised iron spine hiding within the walls. They bolted and welded high-strength modern steel plates directly alongside the rusted beams, grafting a new skeleton onto the old. This invisible graft successfully transferred the immense weight off the decaying iron, bringing the structure up to 21st century safety codes. With the digital model generated and the internal skeleton permanently secured, the team could finally address the severely rotted exterior skin. Replacing the shattered masonry required an exact geological match. To find it, researchers tracked the original building materials back to their source. They located the Dark Hollow Quarry in Indiana. After decades sitting dormant, the quarry was specifically reopened to mine 600 tons of perfectly matching limestone. Inside the station, the vaulted ceiling presented its own unique logistical hurdle. Engineers used acoustic resonance, physically tapping 22,000 individual Guastavino tiles with hand hammers to locate and secure hollow, failing pockets within the ceiling. Where the ornate plaster column capitals had been washed away by decades of rain, the team used modern 3D printing to manufacture lightweight, perfect replicas. By sourcing raw 1913 geology and fusing it with modern manufacturing, the engineering team reversed 3 decades of physical rot. In the summer of 2024, Michigan Central Station officially opened its doors, presenting a finalized, pristine exterior to the Detroit skyline. The historic shell now hides a network of modern upgrades, including state-of-the-art HVAC systems routed through the original 1913 ductwork. The space no longer functions as a passenger terminal. It has been reconfigured into a sprawling mobility innovation campus. The former waiting rooms and offices now house a sustainable energy grid alongside research laboratories dedicated to testing autonomous vehicles. Through these comprehensive internal upgrades, the structure operates with significantly more technological capability today than it did the morning it was built. The station's recovery stands as a definitive case study in structural salvage, demonstrating that even extreme decay can be arrested, provided the engineering and resources are aligned. The combination of historical materials and modern digital tools has provided a second life for Detroit's most famous ruin. The station stands today as evidence that massive, historical ruins can be adapted for modern utility rather than being conceded to the past. Let us know in the comments below which engineering marvel or historical rescue you'd like us to cover next. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode.